Hi guys, welcome back to Suzanne Wachtel, Living Your Best Life. Today's podcast is about breaking up. So many people coming to me, around me, are in the throes of breaking up, wanting to break up, thinking about breaking up. It is just become rampant. As my astrologer says, the life is in Pluto right now. A lot of chaos, a lot of drama, a lot of change. But people are coming in to my practice. Friends that I know are talking about it, and whether they're short relationships or long-term relationships or healthy relationship or toxic relationships, many people at this point, for some reason, are considering ending the relationship. You know, it's really hard because we have all these bonds and attachments and you get comfortable with someone. So dating is a fine tool. Okay, when you're dating, you have to have a master plan. And that is that you meet someone briefly, and if you like them enough, you go on a first date. And then if that goes well, you can continue. But here's the issue. As it goes on and you are bonding and clicking and getting to know one another, you start to develop a bond, a familiarity, and a relationship. Then after the beginning phase, which I refer to as the honeymoon phase or the love bombing phase, where everyone feels good, you feel like a princess, you feel special, all of a sudden your needs start to come through. Like, oh, you mentioned you don't want to ever commit, but I thought you were kidding. Or I thought that you'd change your mind. Or how about someone that said that they're leaving a relationship and they're not ready, but you don't believe them because you guys are having such a great time and the intimacy is fantastic. You're assuming, well, it won't be a big deal to let go of the past relationship. Well, sometimes it is. And now there's a triangle. Sometimes there's couples that one outgrows the other. Maybe one loses weight, the other one doesn't. And now what they had in common originally was the food and the weight. Now one is in the same place and the other one is in a different place. And that becomes a conflict. Getting sober, many couples start out drinking together, getting high together. And then one of them perhaps gets sober or has a DUI or something, which forces them to become sober. And that can become an issue where, you're not going out drinking anymore. One feels awkward about drinking in front of the other, etc. So all these little things, the pressure to get married. Now, I think older couples are a whole different can of wax. Some older couples that are financially set, they're very happy having their own independence in their own space, but they like to get together for dinners, for trips, for weekends, romantic times. But then they get to go home to their own houses and do their own laundry and have time to themselves, which to me sounds like a pretty ideal situation. The actual ending of the relationship can be very complicated, because you don't want to end things in a hurtful way. That to me is the coward's way. That's why I did that podcast on Don't Cheat. Because sometimes people actually cheat as an excuse to end the relationship. They'll get caught, that'll be it. The person will be done. It is so much more mature and healthy to sit down with your partner and say, look, I really love being with you. There's so many things about us that's wonderful. However, I'm looking for something different. Perhaps I'm looking for a commitment and you're not. You just want to keep it loosey-goosey. Or I remember when I was dating my husband, oh my God, 1,000,000 years ago, but it was 44 years ago. We had a wonderful time. I had a 3-year-old little boy at the time. I was single. I was divorced. I was living in New York. And he was a blind date. And he loved my little boy. And we got along great, made me laugh. But after 6 months, I realized I was 24. I wanted to get married and have more children. So I just sat down one day and said, look, I think you're a great guy. and I would love it to be you, but I want to get married and have children. So if you're not into that, like, no pressure, but I have to move on. I want to find someone who wants what I want for my life. And surprisingly to me at the time, he said, oh, please, let's get engaged. And I said, oh, not that easy, buddy. If we're getting engaged, I want the ring, the proposal, the whole kit and caboodle. And we did. And within 1 year, we were married. And within 3 years, we had our first child together. So then we had 2. I just feel like you have to be on the same plane. You have to have similar plans, similar goals to make it work. You could get along fantastic. You could get along at a party great. You could have great intimacy. However, if there's not enough synchronized planning for your lives, it can start to become resentful and fall apart. I met a young woman whose boyfriend lives in Costa Rica. And she comes down once a year and spends like 4 or 5 months with him. Never talk of marriage. She's only 35. No talk of marriage, no talk of kids. And she has a career, but she'd like that. So it's such a hard thing to talk about when the other person isn't interested in that type of commitment. So especially if you found a narcissist, they are typically not interested in a big commitment. They're interested in fun. They'll pay for things when they're with you doing them. They're not necessarily looking to take care of you. But boy, they're in for fun. When you want to have fun with them and they're there to have fun with you, they'll do it. So we have to first really figure out, maybe even go to therapy, but figure out who you are at this point in your life and what do you want. Like, I'm 67 now. I'm married a long time, and I know what I want. I want my career. I want to travel a little bit. I want to have some of my independent interests, and I love that he has his. He has his music. I have my yoga and meditation and my workshops, and that for us seems to work. Other couples have to just figure out, is there enough good? Is there enough in common? Is there enough laughter? Is there enough fun to go through the work of keeping your relationship together? Well, if you want any help or any more, call me. I see a lot of couples at my office, and I think it's very important to figure out if your relationship is going the way you'd like it to, and how to make it even better. Why not? If you're going to be with someone, it may as well be fantastic. So please listen to this podcast, take notes, and really figure out what kind of relationship do you want, and don't play around. Look for it, right? Make your list of the things you're looking for. Find that person, be upfront. This is what I want. I don't want a real relationship, or I do want a commitment. Be upfront. And then you will know, are you on the right track or not? And if not, next. There's plenty of inventory in this world. So be your best self, take care of yourself, and you'll be attracted and attractive to others. I hope your relationship goes well, and I'll be doing more podcasts on this topic. In fact, I think I'm going to have a couple come on and talk about their relationship and whether they want to break up or stay together. Okay, stay tuned. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.